This is the All Things Nerd Podcast, Season 3, Episode 41. On tonight's cast, we are celebrating Fight Club with some trivia. We're also going to be talking about the nerd news headlines. Piranha's got weird teeth, and lots of stuff going on with the Batman movie. And there is a new lead role cast in Matrix 4 and a whole bunch of other stuff. So enjoy the intro. Hello to all the Geek Enthusiasts Nerd Aficionados. This is Mess 5150 back with another All Things Nerd podcast. We have a couple podcasts left for this year before we take a break and come back to you in 2020 to keep the All Things Nerd train going. Thank you so much for coming and joining us here. Make sure if you like what we're doing here that you're supporting us wherever you can. Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, at our website, malice-corp.com, or even here live every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/Malice Corp. You can look that up in your web browser if you don't know what Twitch is. So, I am your host.
And if you don't know what Twitch is, welcome, great grandma.
Yeah, exactly. I am your host, Mess5150, knower of nothing and talker of everything. Along with me, I also have my partner in crime for this podcast, Icy Zorro. How are you, sir?
I am Jack's constant attendance to this podcast.
This podcast is actually just me with a bunch of people in my head, imagination-wise. Like, it's...
Yeah, I don't actually exist.
That'd be creepy.
Also joining us on the cast, we get him back. Raider, Mr. Nick, is on the cast with us. How are you, sir?
Oh, it's going pretty well. Just ready for the weekend.
Nice. Also joining us on the cast, we have Super Hoovian Freak. How are you?
I am not doing too bad. I built tables today, and I cleaned a lot of things, and I didn't smash tables with hammers. You know, it was a good day. It's a good day.
Awesome. So we're going to start out with what we always start out with, and that's Get Your Geek On.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Getting Your Geek On is what we've been doing for the last week to tickle our nerd fancy, to pass the time, or things that you should be staying far away from that you shouldn't be checking out. My geek out, for the most part, it's been pretty much the same. It's been Arrowverse. I'm still busting through it, but we talked about this. Good Lord, what, month ago? The Office podcast with the Office Ladies is the name of the podcast, with the actresses that played Pam and Angela on the show. First episode.
Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey.
Yes, first episode came out. I listened to it, and while it for a fan of The Office, it was fun because you get all the little behind-the-scenes stories that they're talking about. But
did you say you're not a fan of The Office?
I am a fan of The Office. That's what I'm saying. Okay. For a fan of The Office, it was fun to listen to. But okay, so you know the two ladies, the old skit on Saturday Night Live with the two ladies that were doing the like radio talk show?
The
Delicious
NPR
Dish.
Yes.
It was called The Delicious Dish.
Nice.
Yep.
That is what the podcast felt like.
So in this scene, we were making
no. They weren't that timid, but it was just the talking voices, and I was just like, oh, okay, this is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
I was thinking there might have been a guest appearance by Pete Schwetty.
That's what I was waiting for. I want some sweaty balls to pop up.
Some sweaty balls.
But I mean, they did make the comment that, like, thank you, this is our first cast. You know, it's not always easy. They talked about that. You know, they were so nervous that they got up and did a dance party before they started recording. So, you know,
let's be fair, we can't judge any first episode. Look at ours.
No. Oh God, yeah.
Or even look at Nolan North and Troy Baker doing their first podcast. It was god awful.
Hell, look at this one right now. It's it's not the strongest opening.
That's fair. We haven't gotten much better.
Okay, but yeah, I would check it out, but check it out with some, give it some strength to understand that it is them stepping into a world that they haven't been in before, and them learning. yeah, so that's what I got for been geeking out on. The other thing was I checked out Joker, but I have a feeling other people are going to be going deeper into that. So let me go with Nick, since he's been waiting to get on this cast to talk about some stuff. What have you been geeking out on, Nick?
So, just as you mentioned there, my major geek session was watching Joker. I've been so pumped to watch that, and I think I told you guys I wasn't that impressed with the first preview that came out, the first trailer, but then the second trailer that came out, I was just like, must watch. But anyways, that's besides the point. I wanted to kind of make my observations about this movie and how impressed I was with the acting of Joaquin Phoenix and just the storyline and the direction that they went with it. It was just something that was pretty unique. This Joker, like, I kind of wanted to bring up like the differences between this Joker and then Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, both are equally good. I never thought Heath Ledger would be outdone, but they're both different Jokers. Like, Heath Ledger's Joker was more calculated in everything he did.
Yes.
This one is a little bit more unhinged, and everything is more happenstance. Like, I don't think he plans everything out. It's just more of he's
just
lost in his
genuinely
mind, and then he
mentally ill.
snaps. Oh, mentally ill, absolutely, and he just snaps. Like, spoiler alert, I don't know. Hopefully, all y'all have seen the movie.
Been out for over 2 weeks, so
if you haven't, this is going to be a spoiler alert. I totally knew what was going to happen when he went on the show with Murray. I knew what was going to happen.
Absolutely.
I think everybody knew what was going to happen, but I think that in the Joker's mind, he didn't know what he was going to do. Like, he didn't know if he was going to actually
talked about what he was going to do ahead of time.
He did, but you also got the feeling that he might, because he was doing that on the couch, that you don't know what he's going to do because he's so unhinged, but yet you still knew it was going to happen. But just so dark, so good, kind of fits perfectly with Christopher Nolan's Batman, but yet it's even darker.
Yeah, it's definitely a much more, because I finally went and saw it, and mainly because I didn't want any spoilers, because I knew it was going to be talked about this week.
That's why most of us on this cast went to go see it early.
Yeah. So, and that was the thing, is like the neighbor twist. That was you thought it was going to happen, but yeah, I mean, they did a great job with how this was, but it was a social study on mental health, on how it's looked at, and that's the whole aspect of going into this film,
and socioeconomic positioning as well.
Yeah. I mean, I had the issue, like, I knew what the film was going to be. I knew it wasn't going to be a comic book film. I love the little tie-ins to the comic book universe, but even afterwards, I was in the bathroom and I heard people that apparently didn't go into the film of what they thought it was going to be, because they're like, it was kind of drag, and they're like, what'd you think it was? Well, I thought it was going to be more of an origin of Joker,
It was. That's literally what it was.
It was
but
origin Joker.
They wanted that comic book Joker, and I'm like, that's not, and even the trailer showed you that's not what it was going to be.
Then go watch the 60s television series.
It wasn't going to be a film of, like, he's going to be fighting Batman and falling into a vat. That's just
no.
Batman's 12 in this movie.
Yes, if that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And
this
wait
will
a
be
minute.
the first. This will be the first Joker that wins an Oscar without dying first.
I will give you one casting that, if it is the character that he was supposed to be, I think it was awful casting in this film. The guy outside of Wayne Manor, is that supposed to be Alfred? Because God, if it was,
that is supposed to be Alfred.
That was the worst Alfred
casting.
ever.
Yes.
So
yeah, it was pretty bad.
I got to give one bad thing about a film anytime I talk about it, and that was the worst Alfred in the history of
it made me
Alfreds.
think that the original guy backed out at the last minute, and they just used this guy as a fill-in.
Like,
well,
hey Joe,
wanna,
come out from behind the camera. We need you to say the line.
He's like, hey, I'm a Teamster, man. I got a 5-minute break coming up.
Yeah, that's what it made it seem like.
Yeah, basically. I wasn't sure that I liked the whole, Joe Chill being just kind of like, hey, there's a riot going on. There's Thomas Wayne. Let's kill him. Although I did like that they made Thomas Wayne kind of a villain.
Yeah. And Paulie brings up people have no attention span these days, which is true. I mean,
damn kids these days. Wait a minute.
So, yeah, I enjoyed the film. I understand the whole, like, never would want to see it again, because it is that...
That's me. That's me.
That type of film that is... it's a hard one to watch. It was
I'm super happy to have seen it, but it was so uncomfortable and depressing.
It was very uncomfortable at times to watch. In fact, my wife next to me is like, I don't like this film. And I'm like... Well, I told you it was disturbing. like I knew
it's
that going
extraordinarily well done, and it made my skin crawl the whole time.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies where you'd be surprised if anybody that you see picking up a copy at the store, you're just like, really? Okay.
Well, there were people that bought 1 hour photo as well, so you can't be surprised about it.
Yikes!
Yeah.
All right, here you want to have some fun with the Joker film. I knew Mark Maron was in the film. However, when Mark Maron showed up on the screen, I was tired and my brain was out of focus. I thought it was Hank Azaria, and I was like, there wasn't enough Hank Azaria in that film.
I pictured him as the same exact character from Almost Famous. Like, lock the gates.
Well, which if in what I said about not being enough Hank Azaria in that film, I am still 100% correct on that. There was not enough Hank Azaria in that film because there was none.
Because there was no.
Yeah, exactly.
Non-existent.
I was like, they have the same forehead. That beard just hides everything. Okay, Icy Zora, what have you been geeking out on?
20 minutes in. Let's see here. I've been watching a lot of Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead, catching up on the episodes of those shows so that we can theoretically cast them again at some point.
It's coming this next week.
Coming up.
TV Talks will be back this
soon.
week to talk about reactions to the Walking Dead show. And maybe someday we'll get a CW wrap-up TV Talks that we can just talk about all the CW shows, because there's no way I'm doing one for each show.
No, there's not possible. Yeah, but also intertwined anyway. Let's see. I've been continuing to read the Wheel of Time series. I finally made it over the hump, the dead late to middle portion that is Book 10, Crossroads of Twilight. Yeah, that was painful. I think that book alone took me about a week, and it's one of the shorter ones because it's just dry. But now I'm on... was it Knife of Dagger, Knife of Destiny? I don't remember. Book 11. It's picking back up, so I'm into that. I've been playing Fallout 4 like crazy, several years late to the party, but I've got like 160 hours into that game. It's ridiculous. And I have been listening to a new podcast by Michael Rosenbaum and Chris Sullivan from This Is Us, also Taserface, called In Love with Michael Rosenbaum and Chris Sullivan. And they just talk about like relationships and various stages of them, and it's kind of fascinating. They have guests on to talk about the relationships that they're in, and it's a very like mature and kind of enlightened, like open and mature way to talk about various stages of relationships and being a better person. I kind of like it.
And what have you been geeking out on?
A lot. I just finished The Dark Crystal, season 1 on Netflix. I finished season 5 of The Flash. That one got me. That one was one of the best endings it's had in a while. I finished Legends of Tomorrow season 4. Liked that with Constantine.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm about to start.
Okay, good. So I think you'll like season 4. And what else did I just? Oh, and I'm halfway through Carnival Row.
Nice. Did you guys have anything to stay far away from for this week? Just to as a public service announcement for all our Geek Enthusiasts and Nerd Aficionados to not waste their time besides this show?
No, I don't tend to watch or read or listen to things that I don't think will be good.
Well, no, I'm just saying if you come across something that ends up not being great. Okay, cool.
I've been right so far.
You know what? I was reading a book, and the book was so bad I can't even remember the name of it. And it had something to do with the wolf and like a wolf pack, and like the wolf pack was like depressed.
Was it the novelization of The Hangover?
No.
The one man wolf pack?
it was like a pack of depressed wolves, and they had to like find their happiness to live through the winter. And I was just like, what is, somebody recommended it to me. They were like, hey, can you read and review this book? So I was like, sure. I got about 30 pages in and I'm like, nope. I'm like, this is weird. It literally was like, in order to survive the winter, the pack of wolves had to find their source of happiness to light their inner fire. I should have put it down after that, but I was like, I'll give it a go. Yeah, don't give it a go. Don't give it a go.
If I hear anything with that synopsis, I'm not reading.
Stay away.
Nope.
It is the 20th anniversary of Fight Club. It actually just passed. So
Jeez.
with that, this is what we call What's Your Nerd Knowledge? So this is our little trivia game that we have to find out who is the most knowledgeable amongst the people here on the panel. So to explain the rules of the trivia game, I will ask each person a question. If they can answer it without a multiple choice, they get 2 points. If they can answer it with the multiple choice, they will get 1 point. If they don't answer it at all, they get nothing. Along those lines as well, there is 2 little things that they get to use. They have a swoop, which means they can steal somebody's question before they answer if they want the points themselves, if they think they know the answer right. And if they get the answer wrong when they swoop it, that other person that they swooped it from gets the points. Or they can do an a duh, where they think that somebody does not know the answer, throw it at that person and make them answer it. If they get it wrong, that person that throws the a duh gets the points. If they get it right, then they would get the double points for it, or that they lose 2 points. The person that throws the a duh.
Super simple.
We are going to go from who jumped on first on my screen, so right to left, and Icy Zoro was the first one here, so he will get the first
Always.
question. The first question is, David Fincher planted what item in every scene?
Starbucks coffee cups.
Okay, going on to Nick. Nick, what actress turned down the role of Marla because the movie was too dark?
Ooh. A duh to Icy Zoro.
Okay, Icy Zoro.
Damn you. Oh, I have no idea. Eartha Kitt? I don't know.
I'll take a guess.
All I can think of is Catwoman actors. Michelle Pfeiffer?
No, it wasn't. We're going to take those points away from IC, go back to 0. Nick gets 2. It was Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, the way you
Wow.
phrased the question, I thought it would be someone shocking, like, oh, this person, like Angelina you would think would take a role like this, but man, Reese Witherspoon, of course she did. She's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Nick-
she's
That
a
would have
cookie.
been an entirely different movie.
Yeah, and Nick,
Yeah.
you are now out of a does, so good job on your a duh. Super! Helena Bonham Carter insisted the artist do what to make her makeup imperfect? And once
Oh,
again,
she had to use her offhand.
her non-dominant hand.
Yeah.
Well done.
One of the weird facts I remember from that movie.
Back to Icy Zoro. What was the budget of this star-studded flick? And remember, people, you can get
Ballpark?
Well, no, it's an actual answer. It's an actual number.
That's,
So you-
that's way too specific
You
for
can get
anyone.
you can get multiple choice if you need it. It just
A duh to Nick.
Nick. Okay.
Can I get multiple choice?
No, because he dud you.
I can't get multiple choice.
Nope, just take a guess in the dark.
Wow.
23 million.
I was gonna say like 7.
It was
I
$63 million budget.
63?
Mm-hmm.
On what? Just salary?
No, on putting single frames of Brad Pitt throughout the movie.
Probably. They said that it had the executives worried that they would lose money on the project.
Huh.
Yeah, well,
All right,
Shit.
back to you, Nick.
I think that it worked out for them.
Currently, we have Icy Zorro with 2, Super with 2, and Nick with 0. So, fourth question. Nick, the narrator was modeled to reflect the personality of which famous literary character? Rurutu does bring up they did have a bunch of special effects for the budget.
Yeah, that plane crash.
And like I
What's
said,
the
if you
multiple
need,
choice?
Okay, multiple choice. You have Jay Gatsby, Huck Finn, or Holden Caulfield.
Holden Caulfield.
Back to Super. Super. In the movie, what's the name of the project that springs from the first Fight Club?
Swoop.
Project.
What? You got to swoop. Icy used his swoop. What's
Project Mayhem.
Yep. So,
I knew that.
I knew that too, yeah.
so Icy has used his swoop,
should've
and he
swooped.
has used his.
I'm out of toys.
He's out of toys. Yes. And it goes back to Icy again.
Okay,
Rurutu
yeah.
has the best title for the project. It was Project Steal Fat from Meatloaf.
Why didn't they use his fat after he died? More
Okay, Icy, what did the director tell Edward Norton to do during an early scene so he could capture genuine surprise?
Actually punched Brad Pitt in the ear. He punched him for real, and he didn't know where he was going to punch him, and Brad Pitt didn't know he was going to punch him for real. And when he punched him in the ear, Brad Pitt goes, "God, why the ear, man?" That was genuine.
Nick, producers nearly cast which actor in the role of Tyler Durden?
Jeez. I'm out of my multiple choice,
No,
right?
you can always get multiple
You can
choice.
do multiple choice
You can
on
always
everything.
get multiple choice. You just only get 1 point instead of 2.
How many times you get to do a duh?
Once.
Just the once.
Okay, damn it. Let me do the multiple choice.
Sean Penn, Matt Damon, or Russell Crowe?
Oh, that's a hard multiple choice. I could see any one of those working.
Rurutu says Keanu.
Yeah, the kitten, though, not Reeves.
I want to go with Russell Crowe.
Nice.
Tugga. His imaginary boat is
Tugga.
That's who.
Because
that's,
Russell Crowe is fighting around the world.
Yes.
Come on, Tugga.
It wasn't going to be. That was going to be the dynamic was going to be Tugger and Crow.
Making movies, making music, fighting around the world.
Super.
We hit Nick's area of expertise.
Super. Which female rock star was nearly cast as Marla? And you still have.
I'm going to use duh, but I'm going to use it on Nick.
If I still had a swoop, I
That's
would
just
use
evil. That's just evil. You're throwing it at Nick, who's only got 2 points. But Nick, what female?
Oh, I thought 4. Wait, I thought Nick, who has 4?
You can-
Is it?
You can throw it at me if you
Icy
want.
has
but I know the
6.
answer.
Okay, I'll throw it at Nina. I thought he had more. I'm sorry.
Icy has 6 points. So
Okay.
Okay. well, no,
Courtney
throw it at
Love.
him.
yeah. And Super, you go back down to 0. Icy now has 8 points.
No, it was.
Icy gets the next question. How many directors did the producer consider before settling on one?
How many what did he consider?
Directors.
Multiple choice, please.
1, 4, or 8?
8.
That is incorrect. It was 4.
Okay.
I was going to say 8.
Nick, we're coming down to the wire on this. Which talk show host revealed the movie's twist before it was released to the public?
What kind of asshole? What a monster!
Polyfuse.
I need multiple choice. on
Multiple
this.
choice. Ricky Lake, Geraldo Rivera, or Rosie O'Donnell?
Not who I was going to say.
And Polly wanted to
Sounds
let
like
you...
something Rosie O'Donnell would do.
Keep
So
in
that's
mind,
your
this was
guess?
99, so. I would have gone with Ricky Lake.
It was Rosie.
Okay.
I was gonna say Jay Leno.
Well, he wasn't part of the thing.
It was Maury Povich.
Super. Polly wanted to let you know
And
that
the test results revealed.
Barney still
they
loves you. Super. How many locations did the crew shoot scenes for this movie?
Multiple choice.
60, 100, or 200?
60, 100, or 200? Probably 100.
Nope, it was 200.
It's 200?
200
Okay.
locations. Jesus, that's a lot.
I think they filmed a lot on the Fox lot, so that's a lot. That's
Well,
kind of
there's
ridiculous.
that whole short sequence where he's like flying from city to city trying to find Tyler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just assumed that was all cut footage, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Mostly just airports, so could have been like just different angles of the same skywalk.
And that's it. That's I could continue going with this, but there's no catching up.
Yeah.
I see.
Never is.
So,
there never is.
Well, you got those two. You got that one swoop and that duh. That's what really helped you.
Sure.
I see finishes with 5, 6, 7, 8. Super finishes with 0, and Nick finishes with 3. Good job, guys. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show, and that is the nerd news. This is talking about the pop culture, geek, and nerd headlines that have been popping up this week, and taking our thoughts and theories at them, along with comedic takes on them at times. Sometimes just to make us laugh, hopefully, oftentimes to make you laugh, but we're not always great at that. So the first story is a multitude of stories, and that is the Batman has really been getting its cast together, and when they think there's cast, then people bow out and get other cast. So there's been all types of stuff popping up with the Batman. That's the new Batman film that is in the works by Matt Reeves, which is the old Batman film that was in the works by Matt Reeves with Ben Affleck, but no longer with Ben Affleck because now it's got Twilight Boy. Can't remember his name right now.
Which Robert Pattinson, which I'm getting less upset about. Like about how he's actually a decent actor. He's been in good stuff. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
It's just,
but does it feel like he's
that
been
popcorn garbage?
Like you just every time you see him, you think Twilight.
Exactly. That's what people think because that's why he went and did art house films, and he is a better actor than is given credit for with the art house films. And now he's jumping back into big movies because he's doing, I think, a Christopher Nolan film, and then he's doing the Batman. So,
like, I'm not knocking his acting chops, just that when you see him, I just think of that.
Well, we'll get into Pattinson a little bit more in a second because he had some comments about playing the Batman that I want to get thoughts on.
And are you saying that when you saw Batfleck, you didn't think, "Hey, that's Ben Affleck"?
Yeah, I did.
Polyfuse asks.
That's why Christian Bale was such a great Batman, because he was relatively unknown.
I don't know that Christian Bale was relatively unknown.
No.
He had been acting since he was 7 years old.
If you're a big American Psycho fan, then yes, but for the
or if you saw Empire of the Sun when you were a child.
Yeah, he had been acting since he was 7 years old.
Oh, no. But how many people are going to connect the dots? Like the average person.
I get that. Yeah, no, I get that. And I mean that's always the best turns for the Batman people so far. Michael Keaton, known as a comedy guy, can't do Batman, and then considered one of the
fantastic.
You know, it's those people that are more known.
Heath Ledger, yeah, really, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You, second best Joker now. Joaquin Phoenix, comets from Gladiator.
Big Dog asks, could any of us beat Joaquin Phoenix in a street fight? I would probably say
absolutely.
No. I don't think I could.
I would destroy Joaquin Phoenix in a street fight.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Where did he get that scar from?
Yeah, I probably would too.
That lip scar.
I think
probably from River.
Okay. Yeah. So, first and foremost, casting. That's what we wanted to talk about. Casting that's going on with the Batman. We got our Catwoman, and it's Zoe Kravitz is going to be playing Catwoman. Bueno. So that's your thoughts. What do you think?
Yes. I love Zoe Kravitz. Everything that I've ever seen her in, I'm like, this girl is a really good actress and really fun to look at, and I think she's going to fit that part really well. Yeah, I think that's genius casting right there. I didn't look up that article mentioned several other people that did chemistry or screen tests with Pattinson. I didn't look up who they were,
Yeah, I didn't.
but I know who Zoe Kravitz is, and I'm happy with that casting.
Okay. She did get some advice from Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't know if you heard about that.
Was it lick milk out of a saucer?
Her advice was, when they are designing her costume, make sure they figure out how to go back to the bathroom in it.
Good call. Yeah.
So
make friends with friend of the show, Athena Finger.
Yeah, because we all know Michelle Pfeiffer's costume was just the like leather tight jumpsuit. So,
but it was all patchwork pieces. So they're
You gotta have a backdoor patch.
It looks, yeah, that's what you need. You need the backdoor patch.
like onesie pajamas with the 2 buttons on the ass.
Yep.
No, I get the picture of Michelle Pfeiffer doing the Ross character in the leather pants
with the baby powder and the
lotion, trying to get back into it.
Just smacking herself in the face. Yeah, that'd be great. Now I want to see that.
Okay, other casting news that happened. This is the one where I'm like, I'm cool with Zoe playing Catwoman. That's fine. The other one I'm a little weirded out about, because Jonah Hill was in talks to play a villain or the Riddler. They actually said the plan was to try and get Jonah Hill to play the Riddler and to get Seth Rogen to play the Penguin. And once
Skinny Jonah Hill would work. Yeah.
Once Jonah Hill backed out of the talks, that backed out even talking to Seth Rogen about playing the Penguin.
Now I want to see Seth Green as the Penguin.
Not Seth Green, Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Doing the Chris from Family Guy voice the whole time.
Yes.
Jonah Hill backed out.
Batman.
Jonah Hill backed out of playing the Riddler, so now they cast Paul Dano as the Riddler, and I'm wondering if the Batman's gonna drink his milkshake. I don't know what's going on.
Dude, Paul Dano is a fantastic actor.
I can't see him as the Riddler. This is the first.
I can absolutely see him.
It's the first it's the first casting I don't like so far.
That's where I'm gonna say to you, wait and see, because that guy is an amazing actor. Physically, he's the part, and yeah, I can see that going very well.
Do you have any idea who any of these people are that we're talking about, Nick?
Danowitz I'm familiar with, but I wanted to make I don't really know him, unless I see his face, which I did see his face, but I want to make a point real quick to where with Jonah Hill, how crazy would it be if we're going to have you play Riddler and Penguin. You're going to do Riddler first, then we're going to wait a year and wait for your weight to fluctuate like it always does, and then you're going to play Penguin.
Well, couldn't they have done that with Christian Bale? I mean, he gets
what a dick move.
He puts on the weight and then drops it with all his roles. You could have had Christian Bale play another part.
Yeah, that's true.
First, we're going to have you play Jack Skellington.
Exactly. Have you seen The Machinist?
Seriously.
He literally is Jack Skellington in that. I mean,
I had the thought earlier today because I had not eaten anything and I had a cigarette and I was like, oh yeah, nicotine's an appetite suppressant. That's why Christian Bale in The Machinist was eating like half a can of tuna, 1 green apple, and 2 packs of cigarettes a day. He wasn't eating the cigarettes, but he was smoking.
Paulie did like Jim Carrey as the Riddler, which I had no problem with, but this is definitely taking a much more different turn for this film. So, yeah.
Have you seen what was the one Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe, Swiss Army Man?
Yes. Okay.
And,
he's
yeah.
I like that film. He did a good job in it, but I still don't see him as Riddler. So,
I can see it. He played 2 different characters in the movie you already referenced, There Will Be Blood. They were drastically different from each other.
He played 2 characters in There Will Be Blood? It was just
one. He played twin brothers.
Oh, did he? He did.
Yeah.
Okay. But didn't one of them die?
Well, yeah, one of them was like super kind and calm, and the other one was like a crazy asshole.
Yeah, that shows how much I remember of that film. So,
but you remember that he drank his milkshake, so that's good.
Well, that's what everybody remembers. I drink it up. I'll drink your milkshake. All right. On the Robert.
I've abandoned my boy. I've abandoned my son.
Hold on, let me get down. Okay, so Robert Pattinson did a interview with the New York Times. He talked about the Batman role. I want to get some of your guys' thoughts on this. So he was asked, "You're currently working on Christopher Nolan's next film, and you'll begin shooting Batman soon. How does it feel to have traded art house movies for big studio blockbusters?" And what he said for Batman, he said, "With Batman, if I'd done it a few years ago, I would have been incredibly nervous, but I've still got a few months before we start shooting. Plenty of time to have a panic attack." Then he was asked, "You were saying earlier that we should be skeptical of any actor who wants to play the hero, and yet here you are playing Batman." He says, "Batman's not a hero, though. He's a complicated character. I don't think I could ever play a real hero. There's always got to be something a little bit wrong. I think it's because one of my eyes is smaller than the other one."
What a jerk.
Okay, what a douchey actor answer.
Thoughts right now, before I go deeper into it? Any thoughts about what he's saying?
So many.
I do
So
agree
many
with
thoughts.
him, though. Batman is not a true flawless hero. So he's definitely right in that regard. And he does like to play the quirky, offbeat, character. So I think he'll do well with it. But that freaking, one of my eyes is smaller than the other. That's like Megan Fox, or I have messed up thumbs. Like, whatever.
She
dude.
does, though. One of her thumbs is a toe thumb.
They look like toes.
It is. But it's not enough to detract from everything else. It's like, come on.
I just want to see Batman looking in the mirror, being like, one eye smaller, like, "No, I must fight crime because I am a damaged character."
Hey, Lucius Fox, I need slightly different sized goggles.
Yeah, the eye slits on his mask, one slightly
got a
bigger
squinty
than the
eye
other as
slit.
well.
Okay.
Like
Yep.
the villains keep on laughing. It's like, I'm sorry, your mask is
I hate the fact that he said, "Oh, well, Batman's he's a complex character." He's saying that like he's the first person that's ever said it. Dude,
No.
99, okay? It's been around for a while.
But it's honestly, can you say anything new about the character?
No.
No,
It's an 80-year-old
like,
character.
It's really
I
hard.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But let's go further into what he had to say about Batman. It says, what is it about Batman that excites you? He says, "I love the director, Matt Reeves, who is a fantastic director." So
So
Then-
that's not about Batman.
then this bugs me, his phrasing. It's a dope character.
I saw that.
His morality is a little bit off. He's not the golden boy, unlike almost every other comic book character. There's a simplicity to his
Wait,
world.
red flag.
Okay.
Not all comic book characters are one-note golden boys. That's horseshit. Read comics.
Is he referring strictly to the hero of comic books?
Well, he's talking specifically Superman there, I would think. That's the only Boy Scout.
That's the only real Boy Scout. Oh, Captain America.
Well, him and Cap, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Do we really think that he's a comic book reader? I don't foresee him being a comic book reader, so I don't.
Probably
Hell no.
No.
Probably still hasn't read one.
He's too busy not showering.
Okay, moving on. There's a simplicity to his worldview, but where it sits is strange, which allows you to have more scope with the character. Then he pauses, to which the person doing the interview says, "You just paused." He says, "I just fear that when and this is the funny thing about Twilight and him. I understand his undertaking right here with this answer. I just fear that when I say anything about Batman, people online are like, 'What does this mean?' And I don't know. I used to be very good at censoring myself, but I've said so many ridiculous things over the years, so I'm always curious when I'm promoting these movies how many times I can mess up. It feels like with every movie that comes out, there's always one quote from me where it's like, what kind of out-of-body experience produced that screaming nonsense?"
That part I agree with.
I love that answer, because that just humanized him so much more from like the douchey actor that we were just talking about in this comment.
It felt a lot more like, this was an article in the New York Times, which was like a month or two ago, where we did the Nick Cage article, which I believe was also New York Times. But that Nick Cage article felt so much better interviewed, and Nick Cage was such a more interesting person.
Nick Cage.
Yeah. Further.
Great name, great actor.
Yes. You said that you were that after you were cast as Batman, you anticipated a vitriolic reaction online.
Vitriolic
Reaction online. Maybe I'm just used to abuse by now. At least I didn't get death threats this time. That's a plus. It's funny that people are so very angry about Twilight. I never particularly understood it. So yeah, that
The
was
anger
everything
or
he
the
had to
series
say.
that he was in.
But
What
I
did he
mean,
end?
like the happy note of like, hey, I didn't get death threats this time. With
That's sad. I mean, people take these movies way too seriously. I mean, they take a lot of things way too seriously. I mean, people forget that that's an actual person playing a role, and if it sucks, it sucks. Get over it.
Yeah.
You know?
No need to go that far.
Exactly.
Just like get a life, you know? It's like you don't have to take your anger out to the point to where you're like, I want
But
to kill you.
I mean, he has stated, he has stated that he doesn't like the Twilight roles. I mean, he has stated that he wishes he never took the Twilight roles.
well, because it cast him into what Nick said earlier, where it's when you hear Robert Pattinson, all you think of is Twilight, and you think of those roles, and that's why he. I don't think he would have been upset with the roles if it wasn't the factor of the bad connotation that he has gotten for his acting and for if
I
not for
agree.
that role. If that had never come up, I guarantee he would have never said one bad thing about the roles or hating
Yeah.
it. It's because everybody shit on him that he's now like, oh, those roles were terrible. I wish I had never taken them.
Yeah, it was a bad writing. I mean, he was not the worst thing about Twilight, in my opinion.
No.
Because I did go with my sister-in-law to see all of them, and he was not the worst thing. There was plenty.
No, Kristen Stewart was the worst thing. Yeah.
Oh God! Well, she's the worst thing in everything. But when I see Robert Pattinson, my mind immediately first goes to Water for Elephants. It was the first movie I saw where he starred in that I really, really enjoyed, and then it's gone from there. So to me, he's left Twilight far behind. All of them have. Anna Kendrick. You don't think of Twilight when you think of her, but that's what launched her career.
They also cast a llama in that movie.
Yeah, but the guy that played her father,
Peter Facinelli. Peter Facinelli.
Yeah, Peter Fass. You know, however you say his name. You don't think of him. Ashley Greene, Nikki Reed. Who's the guy that played her father? What is it? Billy Burke.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Burke. You don't think of Twilight when you think of Billy Burke. You don't think of what's her dad's name even? Chuck. Charlie.
I don't know. I watched those movies once because I was married and never again.
Yeah, so you don't think
for
of
the movies or the marriage.
So I mean it's like defining Ben Affleck only by Daredevil. You know, you can't do that all the time. You got to move on.
Yeah. Couple comments in the chat room. Ruutu says, "Wow, welcome Ruutu to the chat room." He says people will forget if he is a bad Bruce Wayne if the fight choreography is good. Unfortunately, yes, that's true. Polyfuse said the whole movie was crap, and he doesn't blame the actors for the Twilight films. So yeah, you can't blame the actors.
Yeah.
Honestly, the worst thing about it was the writing.
Was the what?
Ruutu says we just saw Thomas and Martha die again. Will they die again in a new Batman reboot? How many different Marthas and Thomases can we get killed on screen?
Well, they keep cloning them is the problem.
You know who was almost as bad as Kristen Stewart and only looked good because Kristen Stewart was so bad? Who's the guy that played that stupid werewolf, Taylor Lautner?
Yes.
The llama.
God, he was so bad.
The llama. Yeah.
Now that there's nobody playing the Penguin right now because Jonah Hill backed out of the Riddler or the Penguin or whatever he's going to play, there is a new actor that has put his name in the hat that is like talking about that. Why not him for the Penguin? And I want to get the thoughts and the reactions. You guys have no idea who I'm going to talk about, but it came up on Twitter, and I'll give you the comment that he said on Twitter once it came out. But Jason Alexander wants to play the Penguin. Yes, George Costanza.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I mean, he basically looks like a full-grown Danny DeVito, so kind of, when he had the curly hair.
Yeah,
I think there are worse people that could play it. I'm not a huge Seinfeld fan, but I like Jason Alexander. I think he plays quirky characters very well, and you kind of need that offbeatness, I guess you could say, to play the Penguin. But that's not to say that there aren't better people out there that could play the Penguin.
It would be a first for him because pretty much everything that he's been in has been comedies.
Yeah.
At least that I've seen him in. So this would be a totally different atmosphere for him.
But he knows how to play an angry guy.
Oh, yeah.
Having binged the entirety of Gotham within the last year, I can't see anybody but that guy as the Penguin now.
Yeah, I get it. Ruru2 says, I love it. He has to do the boudoir, shoot in the sewers. And Polyfuse says, never thought of a whiny penguin. Here's what brought it up. There was a tweet sent out from Jason Alexander. He says, okay, Jonah Hill passed. Clearly the next move for Penguin has to be someone familiar with marine biology. Because George did the episode Marine Biologist where he acted like he was a marine biologist and knew about it.
Yeah.
So, that's where it all came from. But, I mean... I wouldn't be mad, honestly, if they could get the role right for him and give him an opportunity.
I honestly don't know if he's a good enough actor to play with the rest of them.
Like, well, Ruru 2 brings up a good point.
His style.
It's Jason Alexander.
I know, but Ruru 2 brings up a good point in the chat room. He said his role in Pretty Woman was kind of serious, which, yeah, it was. He was a douchebag. He was a total douchebag, but it was a kind of serious role for him.
It was minor. Like, that was, if you're going to play the Penguin, that's a major role. That's a major co-star in that movie. And I don't know that he has the acting chops for it.
Based off of everybody else they've been getting for this film, they're going to go with a definite bigger acting style name or something. It's not.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure.
They're going to go with somebody that's been in, like, Wes Anderson.
I could see Jason Alexander playing a really good Mad Hatter.
I don't know.
Kind of lovesick, wants to fit in with society, but doesn't. I could see that. And he just snaps and starts enslaving people to his will.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I guess.
This is Kramer as Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon's been cast with Jeffrey Wright, who I love. But Kramer as Commissioner Gordon would be hilarious. I want to see him do the Seinfeld style kicking in the door into the Batcave.
No, I want when Batman like jumps out the window and disappears. The reaction, like, how does he always do that? How does he always go?
In 5 minutes in, he has to step down for using a racial slur.
Oh, Paul Giamatti is the Penguin I would love. I'm sorry, Paulie. I don't know if you're making a joke, but I would.
See, that's a better fit than Jason Alexander.
Giamatti as one of the most underrated actors in the world. Giamatti is an amazing actor.
Is he underrated? I thought everybody loved him.
He is. He's loved, but
awesome.
he is underrated in terms of like
box office
industry.
success.
Yeah. So, but he's the Rhino. No, we don't talk about those Spider-Man films on this podcast.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Okay. Let's get into our science story. Science. I bet that the people watching won't guess what we're going to be talking about for our science story. It came out of nowhere. It's
came out of the Amazon.
Yeah, it's about piranhas. So they research found out that piranhas' teeth, they're always known for biting and chewing on meat and having
skeletonize a cow in a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, and razor sharp teeth. Well, what they found out with the piranha's teeth, kind of interesting. The teeth form a solid battery that is locked together, and they are all lost at once on one side of the face. And then there's new teeth where the old ones were as hats until they're ready to erupt. So the piranhas are never toothless, even though they're constantly replacing dull teeth with brand new sharp ones. So piranhas build up teeth that break off in an entire section
on a side.
Yeah. In an entire section.
I'm picturing like old piranhas with jars, like, the little dentures and the glass of water next to the bedside, but they're really sharp.
Yeah, so the teeth are always razor sharp. Like it's a constant replacement of the old teeth, and they just found this out looking at them, deeper into like, why are piranhas most known for the razor sharp teeth? They must, Polyfuse like a shark in a way.
They're constantly regenerating, like a shark.
But that's the thing, Ruru2 brings up sharks lose one tooth at a time, though. This is the entire side of the face of teeth come out, which is
Yeah, that's creepy.
Which is why they use quip.
I'm still on a notion that fish shouldn't have razor sharp teeth. That's just
Yeah, I mean except
No.
sharks, right?
except for sharks. I mean, it fits them, but a fish that's like this big.
And the kraken.
Yeah, of course. They just shouldn't have teeth. They shouldn't be allowed. It's just creepy.
It is. It's creepy. It's super creepy. It's
That
cool,
and barracudas.
but it's creepy.
well. Rurutu brings up a very good point, a valid point. That fishes need to eat too. So,
Yeah, but do they need to eat like that?
well,
Did they
I
just
think
suck
it was.
down plankton like whales do?
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
all the other
gonna,
fish eat plants.
I'm gonna show my
whatever they eat.
stupidity right now because I
Algae.
misread that comment at first. That's why I was saying it was a very valid point. Because I thought Rurutu typed in there, fish need to eat tacos too. And I was like,
Sure.
yeah, you need teeth for
fish tacos. Fish tacos are not what you think they are. They're not tacos made of fish. No, it's tacos for fish. That's what fish tacos. It's so successful. The ocean is huge.
And Polyfuse makes a very, very good point. Just don't swim nude as a guy if you're going to be in piranha-infested waters. Now time for some crazy movie news. Some weird out there, like, never thought that would happen. There is a Barney live-action film in the works. Yes, Barney the Purple Dinosaur. And
Yep.
it is being produced by... Oh, God, I forgot his name.
Daniel Kaluuya,
Okay, Daniel Kaluuya, who is...
the main character from Get Out, the Black Panther's best friend / frenemy. Yeah, that guy. He's producing a Barney movie
Yeah. What?
for some reason.
WTF?
No. It's gonna get even more WTF once I give you his thoughts about the film. Oh God!
I mean,
Like kids don't even watch it anymore.
You
I
make
want it
Get
to be
Out-
directed by what's his name, Jordan Peele. I want it to be a horror style movie.
Yes, where Barney kills the kids.
Mattel Films
Yes,
is partnering with
I love you.
Okay, here's his.
That would be
here's-
great.
Here's his thoughts on the Barney character. Barney was an ubiquitous. I can't see because I only have one eye right now. Barney was an ubiquitous figure in many of our childhoods. Then he disappeared into the shadows, left misunderstood.
Like Darkwing Duck.
We're excited to explore this compelling modern-day hero and see if his message of "I love you, you love me" can stand the test of time.
Yeah,
No,
but the
we
third
can't.
line is "We're a happy family," and that's going to alienate like 57% of people now.
No. I think that he had a thought and he wanted to find something that was scarier than Get Out. And he said, oh, what traumatized everyone's childhood in the 90s? It was Barney. So let's
It
make a
was-
Barney movie.
It wasn't just Barney. Mest and I were talking about this before in the pre-show. Mest, what were some of the names of the other characters?
Oh, we had
And
Baby Bop. Was
Gross,
named by
weird.
Ceratops. BJ.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
BJ.
Yeah.
And Riff. So yeah, we were trying to figure out what type of movie this actually is going to be. So
It's going to be
1970s blaxploitation.
Is it going to be more of a documentary?
no, it's a live action film.
I mean, it's just
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
the
saw
factor
that,
that
I
he
was
said
like-
he disappeared into the shadows and that he's a modern day hero talking about a purple
kids.
substance.
Kids don't watch Barney anymore, so literally nobody's going to go see this. Like
It's
I
gonna
have
be
a
a
4-year-old nephew. He doesn't know what Barney is.
Well, no, let's go even further into this, into what Mattel has to say about making this film. Working
Mattel
with
needs
Daniel,
to stop making movies. How about that?
working with Daniel Kaluuya will enable us to take a completely new approach to Barney that will surprise audiences and subvert expectations. The project
So
was-
they're going to turn him into the monster that everyone knows that he is. And he's probably going to be a serial killer. You know?
No, it's going to be a To Catch a Predator style documentary about the guy that wears the costume.
That's what
No,
I'm saying. It's
I
going to be like a
figured it
documentary,
out.
but still live action.
it's gonna be a sequel to Get Out, and Barney's gonna be with the teacup to all the kids. Oh, it's a different take.
It
Like I
has to be. Don't you think it has to be something like that?
If Jordan Peele is directing, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
Jordan
not-
Peele directs. Because then you know it's going to have a twist.
I mean, generally, yeah. A story like this, though, generally you would have been like, oh, a Barney movie, who needs it made? But then when you start throwing in phrases like disappeared into the shadows, and then we're going to take a different look at it, and an actor from...
Gritty reboot.
Maybe it'll be a murder mystery, and they're trying to find out who killed Barney.
They've already made that movie. It's called Death to Smoochie.
Yeah. And lastly, their last comment is the most haunting one of all. Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and we can't wait to get I love you, you love me stuck in heads everywhere yet again.
Well, see, I was a little confused by the whole he's an imaginary dinosaur thing. Like, were parents just dropping their kids off in an empty room? Was there no teacher?
They were.
Because Barney was in charge of that classroom in every show I ever saw. So who were the parents?
That's how negligent the parents were.
Well, it was the early 90s. So, yeah, I buy that.
Lastly, comments from the chat room. Ruru2 says Quentin Tarantino directs a Barney movie. Behind the scenes is all the debauchery and self-indulgence of Hollywood child entertainment.
Yeah, but the timeline is not straightforward.
And then Polyfuse says it will be a purple
Also, he
dinosaur.
uses the N-word a lot.
Yeah. It will be a purple dinosaur walking around in a dirty stained trench coat.
Well, partially open. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, so yeah, that's happening. That's that.
I love you.
That movie's happening. So let's finish off the show with some quick rapid fire stories. Rapid fire story number 1. Taron Egerton came out and let it be known that Kingsman 3 is still happening, that they are doing the third Kingsman. They will be tying up the story of Eggsy. All the speculation that there was no more Kingsman happening because the Kingsman...
There's a prequel coming out?
Yeah, that's not true, that they are doing the third one, and they will be all the same actors coming back that are still part of the series, and they will be tying it up. Thoughts?
I have a hard time seeing Taron Egerton as anything but Elton John now.
Yeah, I know.
He's not going to be bald in this one.
He looks like Reginald Dwight to me every time I see him now. It's uncanny.
Yep.
Considering that Elton John was in the second Kingsman movie.
Was he? I don't remember.
He was. Yeah. Julia, what's her name? What's her name?
Yeah. Okay, I remember. Okay, now. Yeah.
Captive.
Yeah. Okay.
Just constantly playing Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? That it? That we good?
I'm excited to see it. I love those
I
movies.
think it'll be good. I don't think it'll be bad.
Okay.
It's like a cross between Austin Powers and James Bond. It's James Bond if it was even more fun.
Rapid fire story number 2. Jessica Henwick is in talks for a lead role in Matrix 4. The last time I think that we saw her was in Netflix.
As Colleen Wing.
As Colleen Wing, and she is now going to be... Now, speculation that it is an untitled role, but speculation is that she's going to be like a female Neo. Thoughts?
She's not a bad actress, but you could give her a better role. Why do we need a female Neo? Just write her own character.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, because Neo wasn't actually the chosen one, so maybe she is?
Well, I mean, I guess if they make her different, but if they just try to make her a female Neo... What's her name again? Jessica, you said?
Jessica
Something with an H.
Henwick.
Henwick.
Okay. I think
Wait, Neo wasn't the chosen one?
No.
I thought he was.
No.
It's been a while since I've seen the Matrix series because I was so disappointed with the what was it? Revolutions.
Second and third one? Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah,
basically
those were pretty bad.
they made it understood that there basically wasn't a chosen one. That it was basically like a chess match between the engineer and the whatever the two. It was a chess. They just reset the chess match every single time once they're done.
It was cyclical, and every once in a while, the algorithms would spit out an outlier that had powers. Yeah.
Yeah, I eliminated all that from my memory.
My quick react is she's a better actress than was worthy of Iron Fist, and she's probably a better actress than what got put out in the second and third Matrix movies. So hopefully the fourth one is better.
I don't think it can be as anything bad.
That's what's Rutu. Rutu says Neo was the chosen one. That's what they said. He wasn't the chosen one. Then they said he was the chosen one. Then they said it was just a match that kept happening. It It's confusing.
Yeah. You know what the best part of the Matrix trilogy was? After the first movie, which was perfect, when you get past the first movie, the Animatrix and the video
fantastic.
games that came out to go with them for an expanded universe thing were way better than the actual second and third movies.
Yeah. So, all right. Rapid fire story number 3. I just put it in here because of I was hoping that a Bearded Master would be on here as well as AA Ron, but unfortunately stuff happened where they couldn't make it on the show. And there was a little argument about this on last week's cast. So that's why I had it in here as a rapid fire story. But they're not here. So I'll just get everybody else's thoughts on it. Edge of Tomorrow, the script is done. It is ready to be filmed. Edge of Tomorrow 2 is happening with Tom Cruise, with they're doing the
Emily
sequel.
Blunt.
Emily Blunt, after they do the next Mission Impossible. So, thoughts?
After they do the next 2 Mission Impossible.
Next 2? Okay.
First one was completely forgettable, and I don't need a second. I love Emily Blunt,
Fight you.
but
I will fight you.
I loved Emily Blunt, but the first one was completely and utterly forgettable.
It was Starship Troopers meets Groundhog's Day. What's not to love about that?
I hate Starship Troopers.
Oh.
But
But
I
you
love Groundhog
But you
Day.
love Neil Patrick Harris. How can you hate Starship Troopers? That's what relaunched his career.
Yeah, and he was fine, but I just hated everything about the plot. I didn't enjoy the movie. I saw it once in the theater, and I haven't seen it since.
The Star Trooper books are good, though.
Oh, I might give the books a try, but I just didn't like any of the writing. I hated Casper Van Diem.
Well, yeah, everybody hates
Casper Van Dien was
Dien.
terribly cast and awful. Yes.
Yeah, and so he kind of
The
ruined
rest of that movie is satire perfection.
It is, and it's Paul Verhoeven, so you knew what you were getting because RoboCop, and it's following in that same.
Clancy
vein.
Brown as the drill sergeant. Yes.
I hadn't seen any of those movies going into this movie though, so it was very jarring and not enjoyable.
I will say, I at first, because of the camp, I was like, this movie is god awful. Seeing it at the theater, and when I went into the film to see Starship Troopers, I went in from the theater, and what got me in was the Blur song 13, the woohoo.
That's song 2.
Song 2, whatever it is. But it always played on the commercial on TV, and then it wasn't in the movie, and I was like, man, that's such a letdown. I was hoping.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember that song being in that movie at all.
But it was on the commercial every time, and then I was like, "Oh, this movie was kind of bad." I love the movie now. You have to watch it later, but yeah. So, and I've seen.
It's one of those movies that grows on you over time.
Exactly, and I've seen all the Starship Troopers stuff. I've even seen the bad straight to video sequels. So, yeah.
Rurutu says as soon as the propaganda ads played, the movie had me. Yeah. Although. You got to be clear, that movie is not the same as the book.
No,
the
not
book
at
is
all.
a masterpiece of political and military analysis and philosophy, and that movie is campy horseshit, but it's fun to watch.
Polyfuse does bring up a good point that and it's fun watching the readers of the books losing their shit over the movies.
Exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what was the original question? What were we talking about?
We were talking about Edge of Tomorrow 2.
Edge of Tomorrow.
And,
Edge of Tomorrow is super fun. Yeah. I'm looking forward to a second one.
Okay. Any thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
Did you see the first one? You need to watch it.
Well,
Check it
I
out.
might have.
Tom Cruise
I
keeps
don't
dying.
remember.
They're fighting in space.
Oh, yeah, I have seen it. Yeah, I have seen it. Just wasn't very memorable to me, I guess.
Which
But
is
yes,
what's
as soon
super
as you
sad.
said that,
I'm the odd one out then.
Here's the sad part. I really, really want to see it. I bought it when it first came out. Still haven't watched it because I have so much stuff to catch up on. But I know it's supposed to be a great film. I heard about how great it was. That's why I bought it.
It's Groundhog Day meets Starship Troopers.
I know. Yeah, that's it. That's what we got for our cast. Thank you for sitting through this this painful episode this week. Because, yeah, it was very all over the place.
After the edit, it should be good, I hope.
It'll be better.
There's nuggets of good in there.
You guys will be great. The host, however, if you want to follow me and tell me how terrible I did tonight. You can check me out on Twitter at @mest_Malice Corp or on Instagram at Malice Corp. Sorry, on Instagram at mess5150. Boy, I am not here right today at all. Whoo. Take a drink. Woosah. Let's talk about where we can follow everybody else. I see Zoro. Where can people follow you outside this cast? Yeah, I'm gonna do the Joker. I'm gonna do the Joker.
Yeah. I was going friends. Unagi.
Oh, Unagi. I was going just because I had just seen Joker the scene.
Yeah.
Because hey, whatever. Okay.
you can follow me at Icy Zoro on Twitter, Instagram, and PlayStation Network.
What about you, Nick?
Raider0314 on Twitter and PlayStation Network.
Super. Where can people follow you?
Twitter at SuperHoovianNut and then Instagram at SuperHoovianFreak.
Nice. If you want to follow what goes on with this cast, head over to malice-corp.com. Wherever you're listening, on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube, make sure to drop a comment, hit that like button if there is one, or drop or review button, and make sure to subscribe. We greatly, greatly appreciate you coming and enjoying the show. If you want to interact with us at any time, head over to Facebook under Groups and look up MaliceCast All Things Nerd Podcast. We're always there dropping interesting stories, talking about all types of stuff. Come and join. Be a member. It's free to join. And that's it. That's all I got for you. We'll see you next week. At least most of these people will. I won't be here next week. You guys have a wonderful Halloween since I won't be able to tell you that. And keep nerding on, and we'll see you later.
Carry on.